Welcome to this video. I'm going to take you through the entire flow this time. So I tried to shoot it before and I accidentally deleted a file. This is the nerve flow for the upper body, the upper extremities. We're going to this flow will be involving each nerve. So we got the main median, we got the ulnar nerve, and we got the radial nerve. We're gonna hit. This is the flow that I've done heaps for myself and benefited quite well from. That's allowed me to get rid of the nerve pain because it was super sensitive in the elbow area and very tight when I was like walking on across the ground sometimes. Just very tight, very painful. So we're just gonna take you through that and use the principles of concentric only range progression, but with applied to nerves. And it's not so simple like just doing it on the nerve. Before you stress the nerve, there's a bit of nuance that is necessary, especially if you're really tight. So I'm going to take you through that, and I hope it's useful for you because it's been very, very useful for me. And what we'll get into is that another important nerve concept for the length of the nerves is that you don't want to just, like, once we get the pump to the nerve and the blood flow and the warmth, which will make the nerve more compliant, once we get that, the nerve, we can't just pull on it to get it longer. We will do that, but once it's longer and we can use the arm properly, there's a method where we can use exertion in almost like a nerve long range position, but we're getting long range reps and exertion and activation in the concentric way. So it's not so much eccentric. This is all concentric based for blood flow. The squeeze, the concentric contraction will encourage more blood flow. So all the rehab I do pretty much is removing the eccentric as much as possible if you're someone like me. So I found that the best way to maintain tissues. Obviously, I've seen a bunch of physios and neurologists, and the principles we're going to get into today aren't from my experience, from the neurologists and physios I've been to, mainly the neurologists, because nerves, they specialize in nerve rehab. And the neurologist that was quite expensive that I saw didn't believe that bringing a pump to the nerve mattered, or warming up mattered. And I recorded a lot of appointments. That was one of them that unfortunately I didn't record, but you're going to hear me say that a lot because I'm just never going to let go of that. It was quite annoying. But it does matter because nerves are a soft tissue, and when you get a pump to a tendon or something, we know that it can make it more compliant, or whether it's fascia, or these are all soft tissues, and a bone is like a hard tissue. So soft tissues respond to the principle of increased blood flow, a pump making it more compliant. So increased blood flow and warmth from a pump making the soft tissue more compliant. So what compliant means, you're just able to gain more length on the nerve. So you're able to gain more length on the nerve. You're able to receive stress to the soft tissue better, whether it's tendon, fascia, nerve. It's less irritated, and it's not going to be cold. And if it was cold and we just start pulling on a damaged soft tissue, it's going to be, and there was no pump and we're just started stretching on it, it's not ideal. And the big breakthrough with the knee rehab with Knees Over Toes guy is that they figured out that the backwards walking is that concentric only blood flow inducing motion, and then that primes and prepares the knee, the front of the knee mainly, but also the side, like the whole knee. If you do a floss band midway through your backwards walking pump and then take the floss band off, and then all the blood crashes all around the medial ligaments and patellar tendon, etc. So we're just applying that pump and then longer range concept to the nerves, and there's a bit of specific nuance if you're tight, because my nerves are really tight, where if I couldn't just do, so the long range for the ulnar nerve, for example, and the median, for the ulnar nerve, I couldn't just go from short range or mid-range vascular pump to longer range, which leans more on the joint and so I couldn't just go from the mid-range with the vascular tissue, because the muscle is the vascular tissue, all the blood's coming from the vascular tissue. And when we get closer to a joint, it's more connective tissue dominant and there's less blood flow in the joint. But we can use the vascular tissue to push blood more deeply into the joint to cover a nerve with blood flow and warmth from the pump. So, but the issue is that this is so cool. There's a concept, another concept on that, which is that different ranges of motion serve different purposes. So for this, a standing bicep curl would be like a mid-range, shorter range vascular range, and it's less stressful on the tendon. But if you stretch out the tendon, the muscle, and do concentric squeezes, passing, if you contractions in a longer range, you lean more on the tendon insertion and you access those fibers more and emphasize them more. You'll notice it, like if you've never done Smith curls before, or even banded Smith curls, if you do them for the first time, you'll feel on the bicep tendon the sort of soreness. So more than the bicep, it'll, because you'll be new and it'll be, so the ranges of motion emphasize, it's not like you isolate the tendon and not the bicep, because when you're under that stretch, the muscle's also under stretch. So there's actually better development for the muscle as well, and that chain. But when we do that longer range, the longer range will push the blood even deeper, way better than the standing and the short range. So we're going to use the longer ranges to get blood really deeply into the nerves. And I'm just going to show you my flow, just what I do. So I hope you're excited, and I hope this is useful. For the ulnar nerve, I couldn't just go from, I started out extremely gentle, like I have 2 bands here, I don't know if you can see. I'll move this. I've got 2 bands that are together because of how sensitive I was. And I was so sensitive that it was very difficult. And it was, but now it's a lot more developed. And when you, I guess there's another principle which is so cool. Like, I love this shit, it's so cool. There's another principle which is a fundamental, which is which is when you are stronger in a longer range of motion, tendon, nerve, you're adapted and developed for that range, and the effects last longer than stretching. So you can stretch and stretch and stretch a muscle, but if it's not active and there's no development on the tissues in that range, and it's just sort of like you're just like kind of just pulling on it. But if you get reps, you get little micro damage and development and adaptation in the longer range. And that you'll be more comfortable in the longer range. So as I've gotten better, as I've done this more and more and developed strength in these areas incrementally with the principles, it's been really beneficial for taking away a lot of the pain in my arms, and tightnesses and like burning sensations I used to have in my fingers for just lifting them. And so if I was playing a video game, that's sort of where I started. And I started doing, anyway, so enough talking, I guess. I'm just gonna jump into it. So I started off, okay. So what I always do first is I've refined this over the years, and this is what I don't see a much better way of doing this. There probably will be, I'm not saying that this is everything. This is what I figured out so far. And there's more to, as I've conversated with people about this, there's more to learn and add in that you can figure out just by even just talking about it. So I'm not trying to be really closed off and be like, this is everything, but this is a very large part of it. And I hope we can find better ways to rehab these nerves, not just for the arms, but for the entire body as well. Because the principles will apply everywhere. They're just fundamentals. It's just about knowing the areas, knowing the short and long range. Anyway, so I think I've rambled for quite a bit. So I always start with pronation, supination, because oh, my green. Please, because I could just use this. This is annoying. So we're doing concentric only stuff. So we're not trying to get the muscles bigger. We're not trying to tear it up with eccentrics. You can get enough damage for adaptation using concentric reps. You just have to do more reps. They're less damaging reps, so they're more efficient. It's a more efficient rehab. It's a least damaging rehab. So you can, if someone's really hurt, the stimulus will apply to more people, and it's also more effective than eccentrics because the squeezing gives the blood and the pump and the accumulation, that repetitive concentric accumulation, I'll show you, I'll demonstrate it as we go on, accumulates the pump, and the eccentric, that lengthening under load, is the more tear-like motion, if that makes sense. That's how I perceive it. That's my self-taught analysis. And from people I've learned from. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Let's do it. I have to talk so much. I'm just really passionate about it. So I find that doing the supinators and pronators first is a really good starter. Better than the, do it. I'm not trying to do what you find. This is my guideline. So I'm giving you a rough guideline of how you can kind of, okay, it's kind of like this, but you can edit it and for whatever feels right for you. That's something to take away. So it's not like do this and this and this and for this many reps. I don't do reps. It's about feel. How's it feeling? I've never found reps beneficial during rehab because some days you're up, some days you're down, some days, it's about feeling how's the tissue, how's the pump. You're just accumulating a pump. You're not trying to damage the muscle. There's different things there. So you can accumulate a pump and not damage the muscle as much. And you can damage the muscle a lot and not accumulate. Or accumulate a pump and then really damage the muscle. That's what I think bodybuilders should do. Anyway, so I talked way too much. Maybe not enough. So why I like the bands. So I've got this attached into the window sill, so it's very sturdy in the window. You want something about this high, I guess. So yeah. So why I like the bands is because it's so concentric with squeezing, and then you just let go. You're not trying to control. It's just squeeze, let go, squeeze, let go, squeeze, let go. And you want the band difficulty, you want it, it depends how sensitive you are, but generally you want enough of a rigorous contraction. So it needs to be difficult enough so that, because it can be too light. You can go too light and not get a pump. And we're trying to, that rigorous contraction, that sort of, the rigorousness of it is what encourages the blood flow more. And I like the instability of it too. It's sort of more neurologically demanding. And anyway. This is a new setup. I did have this set up at another place. So we're hitting the pronators, the vascular range right now. Should have picked this. A lower window, it's a bit high. Whew. And just for the sake, so I don't have to move, I'll just do. It feels better doing this way. So pronator. I probably should have done the long range. Sorry. I sort of remember what the flow was as I go. Where is that? It must be here. Usually I just do, sorry, bear with me. Probably just edit this out. Bing, 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 bing. So you sort of want to do your long range right after your short range. So there's a bit of a pump there, a bit of warmth. And now we're gonna just do, so this pronator is short range, long range. And what I like to do to keep that concentric only emphasis, so if I'm on a bed or something, I like to sort of bounce the dumbbell so I'll contract up. So I'm in the long range here, I'll contract, then I'll just let go. But as it recoils and bounces, I'll contract again. That's like, these nuances can be really, these are all just ways to just maximize the pump and blood. So it's quite a long range there. And we're not doing nothing crazy. You go to where you feel like you've done a good enough job for you. A very important note is you don't want to fast and do this, because when you're fasted, the bloodstream doesn't have enough energy. You don't have enough energy to make a good pump. When you fast and rehab, the pump's not as good. So you do want to have ideally some meat, or just some fat and meat, beef, ideally, and then some carbs or milk or but yeah, I feel best on fat, protein, and some carbs. About 2 hours before, just make sure you time your pre-workout snack or meal, because it really helps with the pump. So okay. Oh, are we doing more of these? So you've noticed that click? I don't know, when you have tight nerves, it's sort of like constrict, like they it feels like it constricts a joint, like how a snake constricts an animal, like how it wraps around, because all the nerves wrap through, and if they're tight, it sort of kind of locks the joint up a bit, and so you usually hear a bit of like clicking and snapping. So longer range here. This is just to push blood deeply. This is, you don't want to do, you don't want to never do the long range. You want to do short range, long range, and short range is better than, short plus long range is better than just doing full range of motion, or just long range of motion, Okay, so, man, I'm going so slow. I'll speed this up. So, external rotators. So, pronators, supinator, in the mid short range. Short to mid range is, I don't find much benefit from short range, like really short range, and then going long range in any part of the body, because I feel like it's too big of a leap to go from super short range straight to long range. I feel it shears the tissues too much. So you want to incrementally get a pump and like progress the range. Anyway, hey. Oh, shit. Okay. Long range. Oops. We're just getting blood. I'm trying to tell you. To me, that feels good. Stop there. It's nothing crazy. It's just once you feel like the pump's maximized. A pump isn't a burn, by the way. It isn't different. Like a burn is good for adaptation, yeah. But you can get I don't know, to me it feels like you can get a pump without getting a burn. Sort of. And you want to kind of go slower on the contractions. That's literally it, like it feels fine. Nice and warm. Now we're going to do the progression, the concentric only progression for the other side, other direction of the wrist. So we did that one, now we've got this one. I really like this method rather than doing both of them at the same, rather than doing one at the same time. Okay, so the short range for the flexors would be like this, essentially. For the extensors and flexors, it would be like that. That would be your mid to short range. So mid range would be like here, short range there, and this would be long range for flexors and long range for extensors. What well, what I've discovered is this variation, which is very good. Oh my God, bro. Need some bigger muscles. I don't want to get big. I want to be dense. Anyway, so this variation I've got is you hit. So we're trying to get the short range and long range. You hit the mid ranges, both sides at once. You can hit both sides at once. That's harder to chase. So I like to just. It's got to be heavy enough, not too heavy, but like rigorous enough so that the contractions are good. And this is a good mid-range because we're peaking under, I don't like to use the word under tension or time under tension, but it's better than here because, I don't know. Anyway, this is a variation I like. I like to get too accurate with it. I don't want to overbore you with super complicated jargon too much, even though it doesn't matter. It really does matter. Like the details matter. You can't just just do reps. It just doesn't, like, that's all the physios know. It's obvious why I'm still fucking injured, because the eccentric versus concentric thing, it's a very important thing to know and understand. So we're doing long range now. So I've just gone to pump into the flexors, kind of, sort of. And now that helps you get into the long range and feel more comfortable. You can also get deeper in the long range. When you bring a pump and then stretch, the stretch is a lot longer rather than just stretching. You don't want to stretch in a pool, man. I see so many people stretching in like cold pools. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Okay. So we want to try and move on because the longer we take, the pump will vanish. So we need to hurry my ass up. Just demonstrate. So flexion, extension, flexion, extension. And so it doesn't feel nice for me to lock out my arm. So I sort of like to just bend it a bit and then do the reps like that. And this is concentric, 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 you see? So it's very, I really like that because it makes it, what you have to do in the rehab session less exercises. So you wouldn't have to go flexion and then flexion long range and then extension long range. You can just do that. Two birds with one stone. So what I'm doing here, so that would be the mid to short, that's the short to mid range. This is the long range. So I'm just doing whatever reps I can I have available. You progress whatever, it's a feeling thing. You don't want to feel like you're pushing the tissues too far. Like it's like, oh I don't know about, like it, listen to your body. Like it'll feel a way to you. That's the best advice that I could give, really. So, and this is just pushing the blood deeper into the wrist, but also the palm. Do a bit of palm contractions. I actually just discovered this now. I never really do these. Very good. See, that's what I like about it. I love the fucking exploration of it. Like you just find some new variation and nuance that's like so effect. You're like, oh my God. Like, and it, like, I keep, like, there's more to discover. It's so, and they're useful. They're actually significant. When you're really sensitive, like they make the difference. Okay, what's next? Flexion extension. All right, so we did the forearms to the hands. Now we're gonna do the biceps. We do the biceps first because it helps you. Sorry. Bing, bing, boom, 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 bam. Type of shit I'm on, you wouldn't understand. Okay, so why are we doing this? I feel like you want to do the bicep progression first before hitting the tricep and the posterior nerves. You want to hit the anterior nerves first because I've noticed when you do it this way, you get a better contraction on the back side once you've progressed the front side more. There's less irritation once you do the front first, and plus it's a very vascular muscle. It's probably, for me, it's the largest on my body, on my arms. So I hit that first, and then that'll really set us up to do the tricep progression. So what am I doing here? Oh yeah, fuck. What may I do? So some mid-range. I like to do banded because it's a lot rigorous, and when you do standing bicep curls with a dumbbell, there's an eccentric in it, and I don't really like that. It doesn't feel good when you're rehabbing, so I just like to. So we're getting a vascular mid-range bicep. Usually I'd have two, but my sit-up's not set up at the moment. Squeeze, Lego, squeeze, Lego. Squeeze, Lego. You want to let go in a way that it's not going to tension you as much. Oh. Oh, shit. Hey. Yes. Good pumps. Okay, so now, I usually do 2 sets. Just to sort of really get that pump accumulated. Because sometimes doing 1 set, I don't know. Maybe should I be fine? I'll just do a little bit more. Sweet. I feel like you don't really need to. You can pass through the vascular range. I like to sort of keep it at the end range when doing contractions. So tell me. Whoa. Oops. Okay. I'm not gonna talk about it. Oh, that was a stinker. Okay. I love these. These are really fun to do. So
Smith curls, favorite exercise. Long range bicep curl. Ooh. It's like a crucifixion. And we're just squeezing up, and not really trying to control the way down. I guess we're trying to get blood in, not tear shit up. We're not trying to adapt. This is not how you hit the nerve. Partly. It meshes really well with hitting the nerve. I do that way to not control it on the bicep as much, so I get more. Just let the break already. Let's take it. Okay, it's a very deep pump right there. Wow, very, very warm, like kind of like a spa. Now, you usually do the nerve long range. one at a time. Jeez. But something I wanted to show. It's usually, okay, this is without the floss, man. So, actually, fuck it, I'll just put these on. So I like to, ideally, I think this is the ideal way to rehab, or to hit this nerve, is by putting a floss band on for your second set. Because when doing the median nerve, it can be, or just in either of the nerves for the ulnar or the medial, it can be really tight in the palm, and the palm can be an area that's a bit more difficult to get blood into. So I like to put these on. Now what this is going to do is constrict the blood temporarily. And we're going to get active with the arms. And when we take it off, it's going to crash blood into the area. You can really feel it. It's quite nice. You do want to look back. I'm just getting contractions. Fuck. Holy shit. So now these are starving and about to burst. So now the blood is crashing back into the area we've just cut off where the nerves are tight. And now you want to do whatever side is tight. Tightest first. So for the nerve, I don't like to hold a constant nerve stretch, like a constant stretch for like 30 seconds. That's not, I don't think that's the most effective way to start to pull on them, because they need length. Flossing is not getting them longer. Flossing is to break up an adhesion, to free it up from something. This is to get length on them, tensioning them stretching them will get them length. There's a lot of fear about stretching nerves, but when you bring a pump to the nerves and then you stretch them, they're a lot more compliant and you're a lot less at risk to hurt yourself. So what I'm doing here is just torquing the median nerve. The median nerve end range is this. So you got the palm under stretch, so I can feel it in the fingers here, the median nerve. And I'm trying to get my hand away from me. I'm sort of protracting my scapula out sideways and really putting a length on the nerve. And you can use the neck as well, since the end track inserts up here. So you can you can do a little bit if that's where you're at. You can just do like a little, not use the neck as much. I think I did start here where I was like I couldn't do the neck fully. And then as you get better, so I'm pulsing on and off it. So I'm just getting on and off, and I find like you sort of tension it, you'll feel a positive tension, and then just back off, and then positive tension and back off. So that's what is going on. And same with the other arm. So I'm pushing my arm out, letting go, letting go, letting go. Now, since this is a stretch, not so much an active nerve exertion, I thought what might be ideal for the median nerve active long range would be probably getting against a wall like this, putting the arm out for your nerve tension, but then using the nerve as actively in that position to help get exertion and active stimulus in that longer range, so that it can adapt and sort of be developed for that range. I don't know, that's been something I've been experimenting with very recently on the edge of my understanding. But it's cool, I like these. It's kind of like an open question. So I'll kind of do it with this one then, might as well. So this is the median nerve. It's a good workout. You'll be pretty tired by the end of it. I wonder if you need more. Anyway. Okay. So, what's next? Triceps. And then we're done. Pretty much. I'm pretty tired now. It's getting late. Okay, so we're doing extensions. So this, for this short range for the tricep, is back here. And we're gonna just bring a pump in whatever range of motion is comfortable for you. If you're really sensitive, locking out very tight, locking out isn't gonna work for you. I don't know, there's something there where if you have the tight nerves, you can't lock your arms out. So, but you don't have to lock out. You just get concentric squeezes in whatever range of motion you have and just build on that. That's really it. Oos, oos, oos. And just follow whatever's comfortable. If a range of motion's not feeling right, or there's a bit of something in the way, or it's too uncomfortable, or just doesn't feel right, mess around with it. So this is, I quite like this. And if I feel like it's too much, just give it more slack. A bit more. I feel like the internally rotating sort of hits the inner tricep head, and externally rotating hits the external tricep head. I feel like this would be better more for the ulnar nerve. Bit of nuance to emphasize the ulnar nerve track, passes through here. And that might be more for radial, just as like a little something to play around with. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to follow this very exactly, so I wouldn't be too concerned with it. For me, how I came to understand all this was I just kept messing around with it, and it became something that was just sort of second nature, and then I could just flow into it. I wouldn't say so much second nature, but I still forget sometimes. I fucked that up. I wasn't supposed to do it. Anyway, so once you do that, you got the pump sort of enough around these tight nerves. You want to start to pull on them before you get into the tricep long range. Because if you're really tight, you're gonna, for me anyway, I'm just using my experience as a guider, I couldn't go from that straight to French press because if it's really tight, it'll pinch when you're in the long range. Like it's not right. So I found that if you just get enough of a blood flow and then start to pull on it, lengthen it enough, then get into the long range. So this is the ulnar nerve position. It's like talking up. I want to do a bit of research on that. I could have a video sort of explains the max talking and what not to do. So once that's sort of mobilized enough, then you can start doing your long range tricep, because usually I'd stand up for this, but I'm still working on my legs. What I like to do is just sort of lie down and do it. I might just elevate this slightly. So now we're in the tricep long range, and now we're getting concentric squeezes deep. So for the French press is really good because the tricep tendon, we're putting the tricep under stretch, so we're accessing the deeper fibers around the tendon, and we're able to get a pump more deeply than we could if we were doing just the regular kickbacks. Like the pump doesn't get as deep with the kickbacks because you're not leaning so much on the deeper fibers close to the joint, and then the ulnar nerve passes through that tricep tendon. So it's real perfect. It's around, I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's there. But we'll get a pump as close to that cubital tunnel zone as possible, and then that area where it's usually causes a lot of issues for a lot of people with that ulnar nerve, then that area we have pump to it, and then we can start to pull on it and get length on it. So squeeze like a, 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 squeeze like a. Those long range pulses are really good.
finish this arm and then go on the other arm. Heis. Whoo! Squeeze like a. The deeper the long range, or the longer the range, the deeper the blood.
That's good enough. Holy shit. So now the pump's right on there, and we're gonna pull on it. Now we could use the floss bands again as a way to, if you might need a bit more assistance, you can put the floss band, so I just did a set, you could do another set. You can put the floss band onto the area, and then do your reps. And then once the pump's there, then take it off and the blood will crash right around the area. You can do that. Just example if you, I'm so goddamn tired right now. And the palm too. The palm usually, oh fuck it, I'll do this for you, just for you. I'm so fucking tired. Sorry. So like this.
I need another band.
Usually I don't do this, but I'm not as sensitive anymore, so I can get away with being a bit more rougher on it. So, but you might need that. Also, but what's really a good one is doing that on the palm. So it's quite, so once you get the deep pump from the long range, then you can really start to feel the benefit, but it's still really tight. A main major spot, tightness, probably more important than that would be the palm for the ulnar nerve. Like I know we just did it for the median nerve, but we haven't tensioned the ulnar nerve during that, so it's still gonna be tight, if that makes sense. So you could do that variation of the long range, but ideally for me, and probably majority as well, is that I like to do this.
Please. You just activate. You want it rigorous enough, this band's a bit light.
So I'm gonna take on El Balake. Sorry, not racist, I swear.
I'm half black. Squeeze like a squeeze, like a squeeze, like a squeeze, like a squeeze, squeeze, like a.
Yeah. Then, like that. Now, when you're tensioning it, the tension up into the pinky and the palm won't be so goddamn fucking tight. So this is like a stretch for the nerve. Again, protracting the scapula out. Torquing it, because that's how you torque it. Or you pull on the tension. You wouldn't do it like that. Kind of can, but it's not engaging the whole thing. That's a lot better of a nerve test. If you can do this, if you can't do that, then you're probably pretty tight. What's it like this? Is that the test? That's not as tight. I feel like you can play with the angles and try to feel what's tightest for you. Generally, we're all pretty the same though. Pretty sure. I don't think there's nerves that develop in a different way, right? I think veins can. I don't know. Generally the same though, mainly, mostly surely, until further notice. Anyway, so is there an active long range for that? there is. And what I like to do after the long range pump and then the nerve stretch, the actual proper nerve stretch, is I like to finish with a stronger band, so a darker band that you can get from Mr. Infinity or Shogun, Mr. Infinity or Shogun. And I like to keep it concentric dominant or concentric as much as possible, and almost go to failure about 80%. So we're getting sort of stronger. You can try to emphasize that nerve position. This is something I'm testing out for the first time before you. And it's an active, long range. Whoa. Sweet. Now that active long range, the band really helps. You can do 2 sets if you want, if you feel like you should. But that really helps keep the nerve longer. That's the best thing I've found to keep the nerve longer, is active exertion, exercise, concentric, no eccentric, removing the eccentric as much as you can. That really helps keep the nerve long. I'm tired and I've got to do this on the other arm. You're probably going to be pretty tired, but I'll do this shit for you. I probably might upload this uncut. Might be pretty good. We ain't gotta take a price. Tell me what it's worth to you. Cut up my esophagus before I get a reverse to you. I can see the Johnson. What am I doing? Yep, palm. That's right. Did I do it? I did do the short range on this side, eh? Yeah, I did. And then I did the long range. I'll just give it straight to long range. That's fine. Yeah, fuck it. But doing it roughly, not exactly. You don't have to do it exactly. Nice. Sweet. Now, it's more ideal to do the... Oh, fuck, I'll do it for you. Fucking hell. Alright, that's enough. Long range. Oof. 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 Ooh, shit. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You can just do pulses and rain pulses. Might be feeling good. Or maybe passing through the vascular range, the mid range. Feel good for you. You play with it. It's not gonna be just one. If you're really paying attention to how the arm's feeling, you'll never do the same, because you always do the same. Devin Larratt said this. Devin Larratt. He said, you never want to always be extremely structured and doing the same thing every time. He said you never want to be like, you want to be like so kind of structured, but kind of feeling it out as well. Bit of balance, bit of order, bit of chaos. I'm so tired. Almost there. Just tensioning off and on, off, on, off, on, off. Right to where it's kind of just about to be uncomfortable and off. Positive tension, off. You can be rough with. I've been extremely rough with the nerves one time, and they regenerate. They heal up kind of quick. It takes about 2 sleeps. So yeah, and then
finish with the long range and the nerve position. So notice I'm trying to extend my palm out.
like how in the, and I feel like doing the the active nerve range. There's a lot of variations here, but it's only 3. So rather than doing the long range, I feel like the nerve active long range,
Rather than keeping it directly straight up, I mean, which has worked for me in the past, and doing reps like that, which is valid, you can, in the very long range, you can try to emphasize more the
nerve, which would be where the arm is out more rather than up like that. But that's just a finer detail, you know. It's not too big of a deal.
It's just a significant difference, I'd say.
Oh. Holy shit.
Damn.
So that's the main nerves you're going to have issues with. Now there's the radial nerve too.
And the radial nerve,
That's position you hit it like you torque the hand in, and you put the hand behind you and you try to twist your arm in, and then you push your arm away from you and tension your neck. And you'll feel it in the brachioradialis. And the way to hit that is ideally, you want to hit that concentric only. So to hit the brachioradialis, it's like a Zottman curl. And you
do concentric reps like that.
But your arm should be pretty warm.
Left one. If you need to hit the radial nerve, that's what I'm saying, you can do this.
Bring pump to brachioradialis. Fuck. And then do your nerve tensions. I wonder what the active nerve tension is going to be for this one. I don't know. Probably something like, I don't know. Something for another day, I guess. So that would be getting low, and you'll feel it on the top of the forearm there. It's really interesting, feeling the tight nerves. So that is all for the tight arm nerves. That's the flow that I've refined over. How long did it take me to make that flow? It took me about, I want to say, 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. I'd fuck around, and it was very complicated to start because I would make notes and be like figuring out a lot of variations. Like I have an Excel sheet where I just have all the order, like how to follow it exactly, but it was too much to like follow and check and do exactly. And then I started to be like, just take a general approach. Like it shouldn't be so exact. Like once you understand it enough, you can just kind of feel and flow and let the sensations guide you through the proper route and what feels good. And then eventually I just refined it and then
found the better variations, and then it's become this, what you've just seen. So yeah, I messed around with it a lot. I think the best way to learn the true solution to a problem is to actually have the problem. Because a lot of people watching this or criticizing me won't have had the issue. So they're not really desperate to try and find the solution like I was. And they might be wishing that the experts should have known this or would have known this, but I mean, most of them might not have even had this issue, so you know, it's kind of like, yeah. But who would you want to listen to? Someone who's had the issue and overcome it and really knows what it's like deeply, like with every movement of every day you feel that pain? Or are we listening to people who haven't had the issue and think they know because they had a degree? But this is also a new discovery, so it's kind of like it is a new thing, but the the anyway, it is a new thing, and I hope we can deliver this because it's a very interesting experience that I've had, and I've always just tried to with every decision tried to maximize the probability that I get through this and it gets out to everyone. And I've mucked that up at times, but gotta make the best of what we have, you know, with whatever you have that's left. So I hope this is helpful. So yeah, thanks, and let me know how you get on. Subscribe, like the video, share it around if other people that might need it, or that are struggling with this nerve tightness. I might do another section on, I don't know, I'll leave it for now. But I want to do the entire body, like every fucking thing. Because I don't think there's much else to figure out, really. I think we figured out everything for the body. So, at least MSK wise, you know. Yeah, boys. Anyway, good night.